Hey folks, for the past couple days, I've been wanting to post something, uh, but I've really tried to be prayerful about it. I've really been hesitant to do it because I don't want people to take me the wrong way, and I definitely don't want to lose any friends. But um, at the same time, I bring up this subject and I say things because not because I feel like I'm better, not because I feel like I'm superior, um, not because I want to be some grandiose teacher or, I don't know, be holier than thou or more righteous than thou or whatever. Um, that's not the motivation. The motivation is love. The motivation is that I want to see people free, delivered, and healed. And I know that sometimes the truth hurts, and I know sometimes the truth offends. And if I lose friends over the truth, I'm not going to sweat it. That's between them and God. Maybe they weren't true friends in the first place because I look at the truth this way. If 3 o'clock in the morning when everybody's sound asleep and I see, a house on fire, um, I'm going to run in and rush in and wake everybody up. Whether they get mad that I wake them up or not, I don't care. I know a lot of people get offended and get mad and sometimes get violent when you wake them up when they're sleeping, or you disturb them. Uh, but it's for the purpose of saving their life. They may cuss me out, want to deck me, or kick and scream as I'm throwing them over my shoulder and carrying them out of the burning house, but they'll thank me later. And kind of the same thing with this. If that's the case, then so be it. Um, this is kind of a delicate subject that people could easily get offended by. So I wrote my thoughts down, and um, sometimes I can say things better when I write them down instead of just kind of going from the heart or off the cuff because there's intricacies and complications within the subject matter that it's better to have it thought out more so than just to say it off the cuff. So here goes. There are those who became either mentally or physically sick or spiritually in bondage. They want to be free, they want to be healed, and they want to be delivered. They search for a cure, they search for freedom, and in the process, they find others dealing with the exact same things. They find support and camaraderie within the illness or within the issue that they're dealing with. They then take identity, pride, and ownership of the disease or the bondage. They become trapped. They begin to unwittingly celebrate the disease or the illness or the bondage. It makes them special. It makes them unique. It makes them different. It gives them an identity. And therefore, they become trapped by it. And if they are healed or freed, they lose that identity and they lose that community. If they remain sick or in bondage, they continually long for a cure, yet at least they have identity and community. This is a sick and vicious cycle. I was talking with a friend um, about losing weight. And, there's this movement love yourself, love who you are, um, blank your beauty standards. And, yeah, I agree that you need to love yourself. You need to accept yourself for who you are, all that stuff. You need to love your body, but you don't need to use that as an excuse to remain obese or unhealthy. So this is just one example, right? So my friend was telling me how that they're almost afraid to lose weight because they're afraid that if they lose weight, that the people that they're losing weight with and that are going through the same struggle will not look at them or treat them the same anymore. That they'll think, oh, they've arrived, therefore they're better than me, therefore they've forgotten their roots, they forgot, where they come from, they can no longer relate, so we're going to oust them out of the community because they're no longer fat, because they're no longer obese. Um, and I never thought of it that way, but that's true. That's kind of scary. I know people who are sick with various diseases and various ailments. They're suffering. No doubt they're suffering. They're wanting a cure. They're wanting to be healed. They're wanting to be free. They're wanting to be delivered. But yet at the same time, they're glorifying and magnifying and taking ownership of this illness in so much as it makes them who they are. It becomes a part of their identity. And maybe they're not consciously thinking of this, but in their subconscious, if they become healed, they become cured, or they become healed, they lose a part of their identity because they've taken ownership of this disease and made it a part of them. I have blank, whether it's cancer, whether it's psoriasis, whether it's lupus, whether it's schizophrenia, whether it's anxiety disorder, PTSD, whatever. Just put in any illness or any disease in that blank. It's the same thing. I am an alcoholic. And I tell people who have been healed and delivered from alcoholism, doesn't mean that you can pick up a bottle and start drinking again. I'm not saying that. But don't keep saying, I am an alcoholic. I'll always be an alcoholic. No. If you're freed and you're delivered and you're healed, you were an alcoholic. That's no longer a part of your identity. You can't keep claiming and taking ownership of that sickness, that illness, that disease, because then you're never free from it. It always has a hold on you. I used to have allergies. I used to have asthma. I used to have arthritis. I used to have anxiety disorder. I used to have irritable bowel syndrome. I used to have adrenal fatigue. I say I used to because I've been freed, I've been delivered, I've been healed. I no longer take identity or ownership of those things because those things are no longer a part of me and those things have never defined me in the first place. I don't want them to define me. I don't want them to be a part of me. I don't want people to point at me and say, oh, he's an asthmatic. Oh, he's an arthritic. Oh, he's anxious. I don't want that. And I don't want people that are sick and that are in bondage to a physical or mental or spiritual sickness, illness, or disease. I don't want them to take pride or ownership or identity in their ailment because then they'll never be free. I see some people post all the time, cancer awareness and, of all different sorts and kinds and all these ribbons, and that's great to raise awareness of it, and for people to support people who are sick, but it almost becomes a thing of pride, a badge of honor, you know, um, a source of identity, community, and camaraderie. But you know what? I like those people who say, I am a cancer survivor. I am a such and such survivor. They don't allow that sickness to take ownership. They actually want to go through it. They want to beat it. They don't want it to become a part of them anymore. And they want to overcome it. But I think some people are still sick and in bondage to these sicknesses, illnesses, and diseases, whether physical, mental, or spiritual, because they're afraid of losing their identity and the camaraderie and the community that they have found in this illness or this sickness or this malady, because they're friends and with so many other people who have this, and they're afraid that if they don't have it anymore, that they won't have that sense of belonging, that sense of unity, that sense of identity. Maybe some of you have never thought about that or thought of it in that way, but it's a really sick and vicious cycle. It truly, truly is. And I'm not officially a part of this ministry, Be in Health, but I promote it all the time because I'm telling you, it was this ministry and their resources, their conferences, and their books that really showed me the truth of Scripture and the truth of the Bible and helped me to get free from the spiritual roots of what was causing my allergies, my asthma, my adrenal fatigue, my irritable bowel syndrome, my depression, my anxiety, my insomnia, all the other sicknesses and illnesses and ailments that I've had. Guys, as I'm making this video, I'm speaking to you over 4 years free of prescription drugs. I don't take anything except for vitamins and supplements. That's it. That's it. I no longer use an inhaler. I no longer take allergy medicine. I no longer have arthritis. I no longer have allergies. I no longer have asthma. I no longer have adrenal fatigue. I no longer have irritable bowel syndrome because I discovered the spiritual root of my physical malady, the spiritual root that was causing my sickness and illness. And I dealt with that. So I'm telling you, the best book to start out with, to read it and digest it slowly. Read a couple paragraphs at a time, put it down, and pray. And that's A More Excellent Way to Be in Health by Henry Wright, www.beinhealth.com. And they have a lot. And once you discover what the spiritual root of your disease or illness or malady or bondage is, you can find specific books on that. Mine was fear and bitterness and passivity. Those were mine. Those were the things that caused the physical maladies of my illness. Those were the spiritual root to the diseases that I had, is bitterness, passivity, and fear. I got those books on that. I got more specifically and deeply into those subjects. And over a period of time, reading those books, prayerfully reading those books, going through those books, and being able to attend a For My Life conference, which solidified and just backed up the things that I'd already read, I become freed. I become delivered. I become healed. And it wasn't this grandiose, charismatic, rolling on the floor, goosebumps, chills kind of thing. It just happened. I can't explain it. It just happened. I was no longer in bondage to fear or to anxiety or to anger or to frustration or to bitterness or to passivity, which caused all these illnesses that I listed, all these maladies that I had. So please check into that. I'm telling you, check into it. I'm a living witness. I'm a living testimony. Please, please, please don't take pride. Don't take ownership in your sickness, in your illness, in your disease. And if you're afraid of losing identity and community and camaraderie because of being cured and healed, then those people weren't your friends in the first place. They're wanting you to remain sick. Misery loves company, right? They want to be sick. They want others to be sick because they're sick. Because they're not healed and cured. They don't want other people to be healed and cured because misery loves company. They want people with the same things, hanging around the same people. And you stay in that. You got to rise above that. You got to have a survivor mentality. You've got to think, I want to be a blank survivor, whether it's cancer survivor, PTSD, alcoholism, whatever. Hope you got the gist of this message. This came from my heart. This didn't come from anger or pride or holier than thou or superiority. It come from a place of love and humility and a true, true desire to see my brothers and sisters healed and delivered and saved from all sorts of bondages, whether physical, mental, or spiritual. Love you guys. Take care, and shalom.